Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Wrestling Pops. On today's episode of Wrestling Pops, we're going to talk about two of my all-time favorite superstars, and really probably two of anybody's favorite superstars of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Now, there are many great moments of Steve Austin and The Rock, and I'm sure we'll talk about more on this show, but I like to focus on their Wrestlemania battles. And since they had 3 of them, let's just go ahead and start from the beginning. So, on today's episode of Wrestling Pops, we're going to talk about The Rock and Stone Cold at Wrestlemania 15. WrestleMania 15 is pretty much peak Attitude Era at this point. You have The Rock as the corporate champion against Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously telling off his boss all the time. So many great things going on in this match. There's so much going on. Vince McMahon starts it off, thinking he's going to be the special guest referee, which obviously he is going to try and screw Austin out of the championship. I mean, that's the feud that carried the Attitude Era. That's obviously what's going to happen here. Well, at least you think. Commissioner Shawn Michaels comes out and says he is the only person, as commissioner, who can appoint a special guest referee, a referee in general. Which, if you think about it, it's one of those goofy wrestling things, like the owner of the company can't, but the commissioner can. Still, okay. Huge pop for Shawn Michaels for throwing Vince out of the ring, obviously, because everyone knew what was going to happen with Vince as special guest referee. So then, the 2 guys come out, Rock first, followed by Austin. And like I said, this is pretty much peak Attitude Era, and honestly just a good way of showing their relationship. Not relationship, their chemistry, I apologize. Austin comes out to do his trademark, going to the 4 corners, doing the whole thing. And a really cool move that I think just really added to the match, The Rock is blocking him from getting to the corners. He's talking trash, all this stuff. Now, once again, Rock and Austin, their dynamic was different than, say, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. So they'll go on, they'll have these really long classic wrestling matches, usually staying inside the ring for the most part. Same with, some other wrestlers and their legendary feuds. Most of this match was outside of the ring, however. And like I said, that's to me why it kind of showcases the Attitude Era, because there's a lot of chaos going on at this time. And for most of the match to take place outside of the ring, it's kind of hard to, what's going to happen next? So to me, that kind of added to the match. And just hey, they're outside, they're up on the ramp, Austin's leg gets hit on the ramp, those kinds of things. Anyway, referees keep getting knocked down in this match as well. And eventually, Vince McMahon does come out and try to stomp a mud hole in Stone Cold Steve Austin. Which is kind of funny because the commissioner threw Vince out as special guest referee, but now he is back just a few minutes later in his dress clothes, just kicking the crap out of Stone Cold. Kind of funny how that happened. It's only been like 15 minutes, but Vince was just like, you know what? No. And then he sees an opportunity and he's in the dress clothes, goes out and starts kicking Stone Cold. But whatever. So then Mankind comes out in his special guest referee outfit, which is basically just a Mankind shirt, like that really dirty, crummy dress shirt he always wore, but it's got painted black lines on it. Mankind staying in character, awesome. Mankind then throws Vince out, and what happens next is The Rock hits Stone Cold with a rock bottom. Probably should have went for the cover in retrospect. Instead, he goes for the corporate elbow. Misses. Tries to get another rock bottom in. Stone Cold reverses this one, hits a stunner, and wins the match. Now, you might be like, why is this one of your favorite matches, or one of your favorite pops, one of your favorite things. One, it's two great wrestlers going against each other. So like, watching The Last Dance, they made a big deal about Michael Jordan facing Kobe, or even in wrestling, Bret and Shawn, or Ric Flair and Shawn, or Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. These two guys were wrestling at the same time and were on top of their game. If Stone Cold was 1A, The Rock was 1B. And some people will say Stone Cold was far and ahead above The Rock. I would say far and ahead above. Stone Cold is definitely the main guy at this time, but The Rock was pretty close as well. Also, when Stone Cold gets that win, anytime he stunned someone, the crowd just erupts. It gets crazy all the time. And those kinds of things just kind of give you goosebumps. It's like, holy crap, Stone Cold won. Awesome. And on top of that, it's Stone Cold as champion, down with the corporation. Especially as a kid going back to watch this, and even as an adult, it's like, yeah, take that, Vince McMahon. You don't get to choose your champion. Stone Cold is just flat out awesome, and so is The Rock. So, once again, this match makes my favorite moments in wrestling history, just because it's two great wrestlers on the biggest stage of them all, competing against one another. And really, to me, they didn't disappoint. Side note, I also was a huge fan of the WrestleMania 15 stage. At the time, the buildings, they were in arenas. They didn't do the big stadiums. But I still liked the logo and the way it looked. It kind of just had a cool feel to me as well. So thanks for watching this episode of Wrestling Pops, listening to me talk about WrestleMania 15. Huge fan of both Stone Cold and The Rock. Anything they've done, it is super cool. I am frequently going back and watching their stuff because it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. But WrestleMania 15 is definitely one of my favorite moments, and I'm glad I got to share that with you guys. Be sure to go back, watch any episode here on our YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to the Deep Culture Podcast so we can keep making more of these episodes. Also, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and like I said, YouTube. Please follow us. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again next week.